Alright, welcome to the MadCatz booth here at Evolution 2014. If you guys have missed the newest character reveal in Mortal Kombat X, we're going to be playing the video right now, so check it out. Pretty please.
You have no chance, Thunder God.
Thunder blots out the sun.
Temporarily.
Round 1, fight.
Is anyone hyped for that? No?
Mortal Kombat!
Ladies and gentlemen, I have just unlocked the secret code to a real-life noob Cybot. Please help me welcome creative director of NetherRealm Studios' latest game, Mortal Kombat X, the legend, Mr. Ed Boon!
There's just one mic.
All right, I guess we have to share this one here. Good sir, how has the reaction been? We have just revealed the latest trailer for Raiden, the newest character in Mortal Kombat X. How has the reception been? I'm sure your Twitter feed is blowing up as we speak.
Yeah, so far so good. Everybody seems excited about it. You know, especially the kind of the demonstration of how the different variations of Raiden plays, and getting an idea of what you can do with the different strategies with them.
Speaking of the iteration, so there seems to be 3 types of Raidens that were introduced. What is the game philosophy in allowing the player to have different branches? Is it to counter bad matchups per se, so that there's a more turtley Raiden, a more offensive Raiden, one that's good against projectiles? What is the philosophy for not consummating all the styles into one selection, but to allow the player 3 different choices?
Yeah, well, I guess that everybody here who's played a fighting game realizes that there are things like, you know, different fighting styles per character. There are different matchups, and we really wanted to kind of mix up that whole thing. So basically, like, instead of saying, you know, Sub-Zero is a bad matchup for Raiden, it's kind of like, you know, Sub-Zero's A, variation is a bad matchup for Raiden's B, but Raiden's, you know, C might be a good one for Sub-Zero's A. And so I think mixing all that stuff up is really going to add to a lot of the layering and the kind of strategy involved with selecting your character as well as the individual fighting style for them.
In the development of previous fighting games that you've created, when you're creating balance, when it comes to balance, do you feel like counterpicking has been a problem for you? Is that why you have developed these versions, to kind of solve maybe a problem of counterpicking, or do you feel like it's just more options for you?
I feel it's more options. I think every single game, every single fighting game, at least the ones that are played at these kind of things, have matchups that are good and matchups that are harder and whatnot. And so when you have you know, these kind of matchups, it's not just you know, Guile is a bad matchup for, you know, Sagat or something like that. It's really like a when you layer it with 3 versions of them that all have different styles. I think that it's a real just makes it for a lot more interesting combinations of fighters.
So when it comes to the different variations, how different will they be? Because I feel like a lot of people are curious if it's going to be just something like Sub-Zero will carry a sword or has a clone, or will it be something so different as walk speed, jump arcs, perhaps run speed, or anything like that? How different will the different variations be?
All of those are exactly the kind of variables that we're messing with, but you know, and we also want to have each character have their own unique, you know, special moves that are like, you know, complementary to the style that we want to give them. You know, so there's, you know, a Scorpion that's more of a rush down, you know, Scorpion, and then there's one that's more of a distant Scorpion. Scorpion has a fireball for the first time that he's never had before, and that's we really feel like that kind of mix-up is really going to be like what separates this game from other fighters, let alone other Mortal Kombat games.
Very cool.
So leading up to this, not only Raiden was announced, but the Cassie Cage, the daughter of Johnny Cage and Sonya.
Yes, absolutely. She was actually announced before it, like at E3 we had them.
Yeah, E3.
And but yeah, Cassie Cage is the daughter of Johnny Cage and Sonya Blade, which were Mortal Kombat veteran characters, and she's in this game.
More pressing biological question. So I remember Johnny Cage's his split punch.
Right.
If you've been punched there so many times, how is it possible to have children?
Well, he's been the one doing the punching. So,
so what about the mirror match? I'm talking about the mirror match here.
Get it together. So you've added stamina gauge,
yes.
and as far as I recall, it's not something that you've had previously. But this affects backdashing, and it also affects interactable use as well as running. Do you feel what do you feel is the philosophy of adding this into the game? Did you feel like there was too much running or backdashing, or why add a stamina gauge now?
Yeah, and well, we haven't done like a traditional kind of running since, like, you know, the MK3 days, and but we wanted to add a feature that let you kind of get up in the face of your opponents. So doing that, as well as, you know, on top of all the other stuff, we had to put some kind of a cap to it. So we added kind of like a generic stamina gauge, and that'll let us allow players do really kind of aggressive things, but as long as we link them to that stamina thing, you know, the stamina meter, that'll let us kind of keep a cap on it there.
Very interesting. And so are there any things that I missed that you use the stamina gauge for? Is there anything else other than running, backdashing, and interactables?
Yeah, well, as a matter of fact, some of the moves that we have in the game might be attached to them. We really, again, that's kind of like our generic overall cap that we can do on things. So it's kind of our decision as we're developing the character, which features we want to tie to it based on how strong they are.
So this is, I'm just picking it out of the sky. You just talked about Raiden, so it's possible that Raiden's teleport may take some stamina gauge if you were to decide that.
If we were to decide that, we could, but we're really trying to minimize the amount of things that have to do it, especially with a character's unique moves. We really want that to be part of the character and not to have that kind of limiter on it.
Very cool, very cool.
you know, with the numbering system, with the gaming, we're here at X, you know, Mortal Kombat 10.
Right.
Is there something extra this time, like something sentimental, because it's a milestone? I don't think any other fighting game, or even regular video games for that matter, have reached, you know, the 10th sequel. Is there something for you personally that you want to do, especially for the 10th time, that we'll never see in previous versions?
Yeah, you know, the X means a lot of stuff. It means, you know, it's the 10, like you said, Roman numeral 10. We kind of feel like it's the X is kind of like for next generation consoles, next generation characters. A lot of, you know, some of our characters are descendants of the existing cast, and so there's just a lot of variables with X. We really feel like, you know, the stars are aligned to do this kind of add a whole new kind of generation of characters to the Mortal Kombat universe.
So, one more question. I'm so excited to be here. One more question. So, there are a lot of characters, and the Mortal Kombat community is also a very passionate community. So, this is a community that I would imagine if you were to, let's say, not include a character, like, let's say, Smoke.
Yeah, they get mad.
You might be, you know, have some pretty pissed off fans.
Yeah.
So, what are your plans when it comes to appealing to your own passionate fan base? Because I know you're planning, I've watched all the interviews from E3, and I've heard you say that there are plans to have lots of new characters, and like the ones you've shown already.
Yeah.
So how are you dealing with that kind of pressure when it comes to not including, you know, trademarks? Are you going to stick with maybe the storyline? Because I know you like to time travel and stuff, so you got a lot of options.
Yeah,
you know,
you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's the I guess that's the cross you have to bear when you're making a game that has, you know, 60, 70 cast members. You know, unless we do a game with 70 characters, which we're probably not going to do.
Right.
We inevitably there'll have to be somebody who's not included. And at the same time, we really feel like it's really time now to introduce a lot of new elements. So we introduced a lot of new characters to this game. I think this game's probably going to introduce more new MK characters than anyone since the first one.
Very cool.
And but that's just a philosophy we're taking. And then of course, if you don't see your favorite character, there's always the DLC characters that we can hold out hope to see that we're going to include them.
Okay, so this is the last question, and you mentioned DLC, so it's kind of one of those things we can expect. And historically, in your fighting games, you've included characters. So can we expect some kind of guest? Because that is a trend that you guys have had. Yeah. Can we expect a guest in this game? I'm not going to ask you who, obviously, because that's obviously unanswerable. But is this a tradition?
Yeah, you know, obviously, that was something that was embraced, I guess, in Injustice and Mortal Kombat. Mm-hmm. You know, ironically, Freddy Krueger was the highest downloaded character in the Mortal Kombat 9, and Scorpion was the highest downloaded character in Injustice.
Well, yeah, of course.
So I think there's a novelty to having a downloaded guest character. So I think the chances are pretty high. I don't think every single one of them will be a guest, but I think the chances of at least one of them will be pretty good.
Very cool. I have to tell you, I can't tell you how excited I am to play the game. I'm really looking forward to it. It looks great.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Of course.
All right, we want to... Can we hear some hype for Mortal Kombat X? Let's go. So, unfortunately, that's all the time we have for now. If you have any other concerns... I'm pretty sure you have to find like the secret exit, which he's exiting from, and you have to go through that man, Bane, right now. But once again, let's give a final thank you for Ed Boon for gracing us with his presence and giving us the latest info on Mortal Kombat X.
Thank you very much. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.